Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome, welcome, class of 2026, parents and guardians. Welcome to high school for those of you who are new to the high school. By a show of hands, who is here for the first time as a ninth grade parent? Excellent, excellent. So the other folks that have older students, older children should definitely know that this information might be a little familiar. You might find it quite familiar, but as you know, like in every field, everything evolves, the field changes, and so new information also is updated and revised. And so I'm glad you're here in this very rainy evening. So thank you. Before I begin, this presentation will be recorded. This portion of the presentation will be recorded and posted on our YouTube channel, the district's YouTube channel, and the district's website under the guidance section in the presentation section. And then we'll have the counselor breakout sessions, which will be just live, but the material, the printed material, will be also posted and shared with our parents and families that couldn't make it tonight, so that everyone is well informed. Buenas noches, soy la señora Lomía, la directora de consejería. Bienvenidos. Esta información se le dará en inglés, esta porción va a ser en inglés. Y cuando esté en la sección con sus consejeros, consejeras, esa porción va a ser en español. Así que muy bienvenidos. And I'm Jeanette Alomia, Director of Guidance and Testing for the Huntington Schools. So the agenda for today, we will be delving into different topics. I will introduce the counselors at this time. We have Ms. Avallero. She's on leave. She will be back on Monday, October 17th, and we're very happy to welcome her back. So that's Ms. Avallero. Some of you have Ms. Avallero as a counselor. Next, we have Ms. Bonilla, Diana Bonilla. Mrs. Lauren Brunoni, Mrs. Evelyn Hernandez, Ms. Daphne Marcelin, and Mr. Lashin is not in the PowerPoint presentation because he's extra special, but he is Mr. Steve Lashin. Apologize for that, Mr. Lashin. I don't know what happened. And Mrs. Walsh is our college advisor, and she was with me at our senior parent night last month. And so the topics of discussion, we will be discussing the role of the counselor, graduation requirements, the high school transcript, the importance of student engagement and student involvement throughout high school, career development, standardized testing, planning for the future. So that would be, I will be summarizing and talking and speaking on those topics. And then after that, we will be going into breakout sessions with your respective counselors in different locations in the building. And so the guidance office, the role of the counselor is that we have 7 and soon to be 8 school counselors here at the high school. There are master's level counselors that are certified to provide K through 12 counseling and address the needs of students when it comes to the academic planning, in terms of interpersonal relationships between the student, parents, and teaching staff, providing support, advocacy, helping the student become more independent and instill self-advocacy skills, and assist students with acclimating and just getting used to the culture of the high school, whether it is academically, socially, and emotionally. And so our student services support staff, we're part of a team. And so besides the school counselors, we have our social workers in the building. We have our school psychologists. These 3 roles are quite different, although they seem to overlap at times. But the school counselor is a practitioner, a person that would meet with your student multiple times a year, and will be working at what's called a tier 1 or tier 2 level of intervention. If a student has a concern of a social emotional concern, The counselor will be addressing or speaking to the student as well as the parent and guardian. But if there's a higher level of need or service, then the counselor would be referring out to one of these clinicians, whether it be a school counselor, a social worker, or a psychologist. And then, of course, our team consists of our teachers, administrators, deans, and let's not forget our clerical support staff, and there are our frontline staff members that help us, link and connect the student with the counselors as well as with parents. And so, very importantly, and now that we are approaching the posting of the first marking period progress reports, which will be this Monday, October 17th, it's usually report cards and progress reports are posted late afternoon between, I would say, after 3 or 4 p.m. So it is important that everyone logs into your parent portal. Students have portals as well. So this is when that portal becomes quite useful to view the students' academic progress, test grades, etc. So the transcript, and like I said, progress report and report cards. And so here are I'm just gonna briefly summarize, but through the portal, you can go through the HUFSD website, go to quick clicks, and you can find the parent portal drop-down option, and then you can log in. And then students, they can enter their 9-digit account, 9-digit student ID, and if they forgot their password, they can always come to guidance, and we can reset the password, which will be guidance 1, and actually create a new password. We have a lot of students that come to our offices saying, I cannot get into the portal, and we understand, we're not just talking about grade 9 students. Everyone needs our help, and so we will be able to assist, whether it is the counselor, me, or the secretaries. And also we have the eSchool portal, which has a mobile app. I know that this is a very important year, especially for students that have transitioned from either Findlay Middle School or other middle school outside of the district. And we find that it is important and necessary to have this conversation and this presentation early in the year so that you're well informed on what, the topics that we're discussing. You're well informed ahead of time, and you can always approach your counselor with any questions. And so a lot of our parents, and this, again, this PowerPoint presentation will be posted tomorrow. I will be making sure that it's posted by tomorrow so you can have access to it. But the counselors will be meeting pretty soon, end of the month starting in November, end of October, November, and meeting with you and your student when it comes to, it's called pre-registration meetings or grade level meetings. And so not only will the counselor discuss your student's progress this year thus far, but also talk about course selection for the following year. Yes, we are already planning for sophomore year. So in October, November, the high school curriculum guide for the 23-24, the following year, will be posted on the district's website. In November and December, students and parents will meet with their counselor to select courses. And then the course request tab will be activated for families to view the course request and selections and electives if that was already entered. So bear in mind that this is not set in stone. Once you go into your portal and you go into the course request tab, you will view those courses that your student and the counselor had discussed at the pre-reg meeting or the pre-registration or grade level meeting. And in terms of January and February, the tentative program recommendations will be made by the teachers. So your core class teacher or your student's core class teacher will be providing the guidance department as well as department supervisors their course recommendations for the following year, whether it is an honors class for next year, an AP recommendation, extra support, whether it is a math support or a reading support. And so that would take place by beginning of February. And so please pay attention to the second quarter report card, because that's where you'll find the teacher's recommendation, course recommendation. If you do not see that comment, please reach out to that teacher and find out what their recommendation is. And we will be working closely with each department to ensure that the student has a course request that is accurate, based on recommendation, as well as that the parent and student are in agreement with. And then I know there's a big lag, but we are still meeting, and counselors are meeting throughout the year to discuss again next year college and career planning, going into classrooms, talking about our web-based program called NAVIANCE, which I'll get in a minute. But in June, we will have our final recommendations by the teachers and or departments. So that would be like our last final review. And so in August, I would say, last week in August, we typically post live schedules for the following year, for sophomore year. So I already have you navigating through the year. We're already a sophomore year, and you just got here. So, but like I said, we are all about planning and just, making sure that you're well informed ahead of time so that you can just be empowered and, encourage your child to be, engaged in their education and be part of our community, our school community. And so I'm going to briefly discuss the graduation requirements because it can be lengthy and there's a lot of concessions due to COVID-19 with the exemptions with Regents exams and then the special appeals, etc. So we are just going to briefly discuss the graduation requirements for the sake of time, and I know that the counselors have a plethora of information to share with you in a few minutes. And so students must earn a minimum of 22 credits in order to graduate, and so they must pass 4 years of English, or 4 credits of English, 4 credits of social studies, at least 3 credits of math and science, but our college-bound students and all students that are capable of taking the 4th or 5th year of math and science do. We have a good portion of students that do that. In terms of the world language, for one type of diploma, the Regents diploma, it's 1 year. We have 1 class of health that the student is required to take. PE every single year, and I'm not following this at all. I'm just going by my experience, my knowledge, and sharing it with you. 1 credit of art, and art could be also music, right, or chorus, and electives, okay? So these are the types of diplomas that are available to students, and there's various seals, endorsements. One is the local diploma, the other one is the Regents diploma, then the other one is Advanced Regents Diploma. The state renamed it the Regents Diploma with Advanced Designation. And so with the Regents Diploma with Advanced Designation, and also with Regents, there are seals and extra recognition that students can earn by the time they graduate. One is a student can graduate with a Regents Diploma with honors, the Regents Diploma with Advanced Designation with honors. The student can also obtain a seal of mastery in science and in math, and that is depending upon the math and 3 science regions, providing the student has to demonstrate proficiency on each exam, a Regents exam, but the proficiency is, or mastery is 85 or better. Concessions and exceptions are made, and you can speak to your counselor individually during those pre-reg meetings when it comes to the E, and what does that mean, and can my student still earn a mastery in math even though they received, an E in algebra, although I think our students, or they receive an SA, because our students here already had taken last year the Regents, so this is not during COVID times. Then there's the career and technical education endorsement, which a lot of our students do attend the Wilson Tech program, half a day, and They come here for academics, half a day, and then go to the Wilson Tech programs where they will learn a trade or a career path. And that could be anywhere from culinary, cosmetology, electrical studies, construction trades, etc. Then you have the seal of biliteracy, which also is for students that not only that come from the dual language program since they were little in primary ages or grades, but also for students that show proficiency in both English and another language, whether it is French, Italian, Spanish, or Latin. And so there is a process, an application, a culminating project that involves the biliteracy seal, the seal of biliteracy. So that's something that please you need to inquire in your meetings with your counselor. There's also a new that I did not add, a new seal is called the Civic Readiness Seal, and currently we are starting this providing this endorsement to our seniors because there is, again, a lot of requirements and criteria that a student must meet in order to earn this newly created and exciting what's called Civic Readiness seal, which actually it involves a lot of humanities or social studies courses, as well as civic engagement, like volunteer and community service, and just being engaged in the community as a whole. So as I stated before, I mentioned before, we have a program called NAVIANCE. A lot of people may know it as NAVIANCE, but it's NAVIANCE. And it's a communication platform that we utilize in terms of sending email blasts. We are right now dealing with a glitch in terms of NAVIANCE because please note the HUFSD email addresses are not active. They're not true email addresses, so a student cannot either compose and send an email or receive one. So we are just figuring this out with NAVIANCE and making sure that the student enters their personal email address on their NAVIANCE account. And so NAVIANCE is a web-based tool that supports students in the career and college planning process. There's videos about, careers, and there is scholarship search tool. And so there are a lot of resources on NAVIANCE, and the counselors go into the classrooms not only to talk about the self-exploratory portion of NAVIANCE, like career exploration, but also resume writing, and it's really engaging. They do a great job, phenomenal job presenting and engaging students with activities so that they learn and they're used to using NAVIANCE on a daily basis. So we will be, again, you can definitely discuss this and ask questions in your individual meetings with the counselors. And so who knows about Clever? And it's a one-click sign-on avenue in which a student goes in and has access to their tiles. So there would be their Google Classroom, our NAVIANCE program, and other options such as Castle Learning, etc. So it's a really convenient way to get into your students' resources through Clever, and that's done through the HUFSD website, but each student has an account already. And so this is what the NAVIANCE student page looks like. The student would enter their email address, but in password, but that would be, again, once that's set up through with Clever, it's one click and they're straight. They can choose to go into NAVIANCE. And so the 9th grade and each grade level has a welcoming, page where there's a series of tasks and goals. And that's another topic of conversation that the counselors present on is goal setting. And just this is the actual right year to start that action plan and goal setting, not only for the year but for future years. So that's after you sign in. Then we have the very exciting college research piece that NAVIANCE has. It's updated by the corresponding schools. NAVIANCE is connected to what's called the common application, and eventually the student will need to match their NAVIANCE account with the common application, which is the application that your student will be most likely utilizing to apply to all of their colleges or most of their colleges. And so with the college research piece, the student can view videos of you can tour a specific school. And also, actually, we enter data in terms of where our previous graduating classes go, their destination. So there is a feature called Scattergram, and I love this feature because it actually puts the student, as long as the GPA and the let's say the PSAT when your child takes it next year are entered, it gives them a sense of where their potential of getting in comparison to our Huntington High School graduates, and what is the GPA profile and the test score profile of that student that got into, let's say, Bucknell or Harvard or Duke, etc. So it's a really, really cool feature. And once again, the counselors will be giving you a demo in your individual meetings when the time comes. And then there's the exploring careers. I think that in 8th grade, if anything, I don't know if your student already shared this with you, but Ms. Logan and Ms. Ram Logan, can that be any confusing? The middle school counselors push in every year into the 7th and 8th grade classes to discuss Road Trip Nation, which is a series of interviews and videos of famous people talking about their careers and how they got into their career. We have people from the entertainment industry like Usher, so it's very relevant and very student kid friendly, appropriate friendly. And so in terms of the career piece here at the high school, it becomes more sophisticated. It becomes like taking a survey about personality based on the Holland personality code, etc. And again, it's really, really cool. Sorry, can you see? I'm a little passionate about it. And the beautiful thing, and this is another wonderful thing that I have observed firsthand, what the counselors do is mainly start talking about the activity sheet and the resume, and they're like, well, I'm only 14, 15, what, I haven't done anything. Yes, you have. And so the exploration and the conversation about getting involved, volunteering, working, helping even with babysitting, all those experiences that are at that level, age appropriate, can give students transferable skills to acquire for later on for college. And so the activity sheet resume is we have the NAVIANCE has that tool that will help the students start their resume, because in senior year or before, that student will have a robust resume activity sheet that he or she can upload into the common application. So I'm giving you lingo already, terminology, so that you're already college ready, college and career ready. And so that's another piece of NAVIANCE. So, wow, time flies. And I just wanted to welcome you all here once again. This is great that you're here, and please do not hesitate to ask us questions. We're here to help. No question is a silly question. I am a parent of a junior and a super senior. I have a special ed student at home as well. And so I know what it's like to do transitioning. I know what it's like to have the jitters about, the future in high school and pushing kids, and especially when one is giving you a hard time when you're telling them, get involved, get into clubs. So I do know, and I think we have great information to share with you. So without further ado, for Mrs. Avallaro's parents, we will be meeting in Cafeteria A, and I will be leading that presentation. For Ms. Bonilla, she will be in room 110. Para la señora Bonilla, ella va a estar en la aula 110. Y la señora Alvarello, yo voy a presentar esa presentación en la Cafetería A. Mrs. Bernoni, She will be in cafeteria B, so everyone has Mrs. Brunoni, cafeteria B. If you don't know who your counselor is, you can go to your portal, your student portal, and it should be displayed there if you look at the schedule. Mrs. Hernandez, 109, room 109. She will present as needed on a bilingual back and forth because she has a mixed caseload. Para la señora Hernández, el aula número 109. Mr. Lashen, I have you down now, is room 140. And Ms. Marcelin, Ms. Marcelin will be meeting with parents in room 141. So, thank you so much. And if that portion of this portion will not be recorded, unfortunately, but the material will be posted on the website for those who couldn't attend. Thank you so much.